Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to live conversation on Allatra TV. My name is Alla, and my co-host name today is Akmaral Batalova. Akmaral, she was a guest previously with us, and she got inspired by that project Creative Society, and she decided to join us today as my co-host. And Akmaral is a wonderful social active person. She is a journalist and a producer. And also my co-host is Anna. So welcome, everybody.
Hello, everybody. We are very proud and very honored to have with us today His Grace Riah Abu El-Assal. He is an Israeli Palestinian religious leader who was the Bishop of Anglican Church in Jerusalem from 1997 to 2007. So welcome to our program, Your Grace. Thank you for accepting our invitation. We are very honored to have you here today with us.
Thank you very much indeed. Pleasure to be with you all.
Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you, Akmaral. So for those who are joining us the first time, I would like to remind that Allatra International Public Movement has launched a unique global project that called Creative Society. Within this project, we are asking all people around the whole world, how do they envision a creative society, such a society where everybody could live in happiness and everybody will feel safe. And today, we have our guest, as Akmaral said, and you, Grace, welcome again. Could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself? What are you doing? How you came to it? What inspires you?
Thank you very much indeed. Again, my name is Riah Abu El-Assal. I'm an Arab Palestinian Christian of the Anglican tradition and a citizen of the State of Israel. I've been born in Nazareth, then became a refugee in 47, 48 because of the war of 1948. Spent about a year in Lebanon, but as a kid, I found my way back home, crossing the borders illegally, coming back to the home country, as it were. Ever since, I lived away from my parents for a number of years. Then my mother came with my sisters and my youngest brother, who was born in Lebanon. And then we continued to fight for our right of return. And my dad came to just a week before Christmas in 1958, when I was already second year as a teacher. He did not recognize me. And the same was with my mom when she came. I was already a teenage, and having lived away from my parents, whoever lived away from parents would appreciate the different challenges that a young boy or a young girl would face in this life. But it did help shape my life. And as people would describe me, that I grew beyond my age and had to take care of my mom, 4 sisters, and 2 brothers. And only one brother was left in the Lebanon because he was already beyond the age allowed to return officially to what became Israel. Then after the return of my dad, I found my way to India for study. And after 4 years, I walked back almost most of the way, except for the fact that I was denied crossing into Pakistan because they could not tell, they could not believe that I was an Arab Palestinian because I carried an Israeli passport. So I flew to Tehran, found my way from Tehran to Isfahan, then on the borders of Armenia to Turkey, and then moved to Europe and spent 2 months, 21 days on the road until I came back home by train and by sea. Only then they prepared me for ordination. I was ordained deacon, then ordained priest, then archdeacon, then bishop in 1995. I was elected the third Arab bishop for the Anglican Church in Jerusalem in the Middle East, but the 13th Anglican bishop since the foundation of the Anglican diocese in 1841. You arrive at a certain age and you hand over the administration, but you continue to be a bishop, doing your pastoral work. After I handed over, I continued my different activities, whether locally or internationally. I've been fortunate with travel, yes, but most of the time invited by different parties and by different groups to address different communities, some of which were by the thousands, simply by the thousands, interviewed by different TV channels and stations, preaching at different churches, speaking to Jewish synagogues in America and other parts of the world, until the COVID-19 hit the world, and I'm unable now to travel and come and see you, whether in England or in Kazakhstan. But hopefully things will change for better and we'll be able to meet.
Thank you so much, Your Grace. Your story is just amazing and sad and inspiring at the same time. You know, many people know about the Arab and Israeli conflict that is during for so long time, you know, but the ordinary public sometimes doesn't know exactly what is happening. Maybe because the history, this conflict is so long, or maybe it's because of some inaction of the international community. For example, last year, the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said during the meeting in the Security Council that over 800 resolutions were adopted by different bodies of UN on Palestine since 1948. But nothing happened still, like, so that's why maybe many ordinary public, just normal people, you know, just don't know exactly what is happening. Because some people think that all Arabs hate Jewish, or all Jewish people hate Arab people. Some Jewish people say that they're chosen people and they have a right for Palestinian land. Some Jewish people say that not, we don't have this right. The Palestinians say they consider the Palestine that their own land and that nobody else don't have a right for this land. So, you know, there are so many opinions, but as we can see, all can see that these different opinions, this conflict just make impossible two-state solution and the peace and security for everybody, for us for Palestinians, so for the Jewish people. So can you please explain us and enlighten us in this issue, and as a person who lives in this region and as a person who dedicated his life to find the peace, can you explain us the real situation? What is happening? Please.
Let me begin the way I would begin addressing different conferences in the world. This whole conflict the Arab-Israeli conflict is attributed, normally you use jokes, so, and I hope you will get the gist of the joke I'm sharing with you now, that this whole problem between Arabs and Jews, between Israelis and Palestinians, is attributed to a misunderstanding on behalf of Almighty God. And the question arises, how come God misunderstands? And the story tells us that when Moses got lost in the desert for 40 years after the Jewish community escaped from Egypt, God came to Moses after 40 years roaming in the desert and told him, Moses, you've been patient, you've been kind to your people were troublesome, they kept telling you, when are we gonna settle down? It was much better if we stayed in Egypt. Listen, I want to make you a favor. And Moses said, Almighty God, what other favor? Give me a piece of land to settle in. And God told Moses, I will open your eyes. The whole universe is before you. The whole world is before you. I know you don't speak well. You know, Moses could not speak well. He stammered. That's why he used to take his brother Aaron to speak on his behalf. And God told him, you don't need to speak. Moses, all you need is, I'll show you the world, you point to the place, and that place is yours. And God opened his eyes, he saw the whole world, and he saw a beautiful place, lots of water, green. And he started saying, rather than pointing, he said, I would love to have the land of ka. And Almighty God said, I know you want the land of Canaan. But God did not realize he was asking for Canada. And so, this misunderstanding. So Moses, we're told, said, all right, you want Canaan? You go to Canaan. Now, this is only a joke, because Canaan was first given to Abraham. It was not given to Moses in the first place. And Abraham is the father of the faithful. He's the father of Isaac, and he's the father of Ishmael. And the two brothers are entitled to inheritance. So if you're talking about a promised land, the promised land was made to Abraham. And Abraham is the father of all of us if we believe in monotheistic religions. If we are Christians, if we are Muslims, if we are Jews, with different sects, but we believe in the one God, it was given to Abraham. And Abraham is never spoken of as a Jew. So I, an Arab, and he of Jewish faith, I, a Christian, and you may be a Muslim, we all are entitled to inherit that land on which the ongoing conflict remains to be troublesome for the whole world. This is one. Second, the Jews lived side by side with the Arabs. They lived in the Middle East. In the past, perhaps people spoke of us as Assyrians, Midianites, Canaanites. Judaism was a religion and not a nationality. There are many Jews of Arab background. The Jews in Arabia, in Saudi Arabia, were Arabs, but they became Jews. So ethnically speaking, they were Arabs. Religiously speaking, they were Jewish. All right, they came to Canaan, settled in Jerusalem, and then we all know what happened in this area. The Romans occupied the land. And in the year 70 AD, Titus the Roman bulldozed Jerusalem. He demolished the city. And the Jews escaped. Where did they escape? There was no America to escape to. There was no Australia. There was no Canada. They escaped to the neighboring countries and lived among our people. So Jews, be they Arabs or Assyrians, you name it, or Ethiopians, lived side by side with the Arab people in what was known as the Middle East: Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, Iraq, all this area. And they lived in peace and harmony until the rise of the Christian Zionist movement. The Christian Zionist movement preceded the Jewish Zionist movement by almost 50 years. In 1853, Lord Shepherd from England announced that of Palestine, it was a country without a people, must be given to a people without a country. Theodore Herzl, almost 50 years after this Lord of Britain, said a land without a people, not a country, a land without a people be given to a people without a land. In either case, whether it is the British or later Balfour in 1916, the question must be addressed: who gives whose land? Who has the right to give the land of others? We were living side by side with the Jews. In 1923, the number of Jews in Jerusalem and Palestine was more than 50,000. And they were able to build the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. There was a mixture and peaceful coexistence between Jews and Palestinians until the colonial powers, in particular Great Britain, played their dirty game by partitioning the Ottoman Empire and creating little states like Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Palestine. And then Lord Balfour giving the Jewish community a place in Palestine. But even Balfour, in his declaration, he said that the rights of the local people must be respected. As if we didn't have enough trouble, came the partition plan of 1947, 29th of November 1947, the partition of Palestine resolved by the United Nations, whereby the Arabs, who were the majority, were given less of the land, and the Jews who were there were less in number, were given a greater part of Palestine, and the conflict began. The conflict today is over a piece of land that must be shared by two people. Today in Israel proper, there are 20% Arab Palestinians. Those Arab Palestinians in no time will become 25%, perhaps 30%. The Palestinians in the occupied territories will also increase in number. So also the Jews. Where are we heading? Will we continue to fight or try to learn the art of co-living, not only coexisting? Is there a way out of the conflict? Yes. In my opinion, there is a way, and I will refer to it when I'm asked that question. But the historical background the historical background of the conflict has to do with Britain, who are foreigners to the land of Palestine. Certainly, some Jewish communities from Europe who also had much to do with Zionism, which is different from Judaism. And also, one must admit that some Arab leaders did not play it right, and rather than focusing on what will put an end to enmity, we started the war. Wars never make peace. The only way to peace is peace. Peace is the way. Many people have been talking about peace, preaching about peace, singing for peace. Jesus Christ of Nazareth said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." Thank God Jesus did not say, "Blessed are the peace talkers." He said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." People need to walk the talk when they speak about peace. For people to tell me there is no way to peace and reconciliation, in my opinion, they are trying to close their eyes to the possibility of peace to overreign in the land of peace. Several parties and several world leaders thought that they can pave the way for peace by making war on others. And I will finish with this bit. I met with Tony Blair, Prime Minister Tony Blair, 2003, on the 18th of February. I was one of 4 bishops, 2 Americans, 1 British, and myself. And we tried to encourage him not to go to war against Iraq. And he turned to us and said, "We're going to war to Iraq, against Iraq, to pave the way for peace in the Middle East." The other bishops spoke. When my turn came, I turned to him and said, "Mr. Prime Minister, the shortest route to Baghdad in Iraq goes through Jerusalem. Once peace comes to Jerusalem, peace will come to the whole world. Unless there is peace in Jerusalem and for Jerusalem, for the 2 parties caught in the Arab-Israeli conflict, I fear for peace in the world."
You are absolutely right, Your Grace. Really, God bless you for your peacekeeping mission, for
Thank
your
you.
so truthful thoughts, really.
Yes, I want to join to Akmara, what she just saying. It's an amazing experience of you. What you just said is touchy, so touchy by touch every single heart. We should unite all together and don't have this conflicts between us as a people, not share the land, because this, you're right, it's given by God, this land for everybody to use. And it just, yeah, I'm really joined to everybody, and your statement is it's really important to understand each other and to build a better relationship between people at first. And we know that, Your Grace, you contact with many different leaders from different religions, and you have lots of roundtables, conferences, and meetings where you speak and have conversations together about what to do and how to live. And how do, in your opinion, how important is it to maintain such a multicultural dialogues with and communications between the people that from different religions, from different beliefs, in order to learn, to better understand, and to respect each other?
Let me begin by saying religion is not about God, and God is not about religion. Much harm has been done in the name of religion. Another story which I put in my book the story of the member of the Sikh community from India. You know the Sikh, you have them in England with the turban and beard.
Yeah.
You know them.
Yes.
Certainly you know them. Many years ago, when very few Indians traveled, one of those Sikh traveled to England and wanted to go from London to Liverpool. So he got on the train. On that coach, there was no one except one Englishman. And this Englishman never met a member of the Sikh community. And he wondered what kind of a creature is this gentleman with the beard, with the turban, and quiet. He kept looking at him. And the Sikh are known to be very kind, very gentle. He turned to the Englishman and told him, I am Sikh. The Englishman told him, if you are sick, go and see a doctor. the Sikh person told him, no, I am Sikh in religion. The Englishman said, I am sick too. I am sick. I think people are sick of religion. I am sick of any religion that justifies the killing of another. I am sick of any religion that justifies the occupation of a land of the other. I am sick of religion that discriminates against you because you come from Russia and because another comes from Kazakhstan. I am sick of that religion. Religion is meant to pave the way for harmony, for reconciliation, for peace, for creative society, in which you are a party. I mean, there can be no creative society without this harmony among people, be they members of a certain faith tradition or even agnostics or atheists, as long as they are human beings. What matters? First, we need to be a good human being before we claim that I'm a good Christian and he or she is a good Muslim or he is a good or not too good Jew. No. What matters to recognize the fact that all of us are created by the same God, that we are all entitled to the same rights. We're entitled to, first, to be recognized as equal human beings, whether I am with blue eyes or with dark eyes, whether I am African or I am Norwegian and Scandinavian or Russian. We must recognize the human that is in each and every one of us. Any religion that preaches other than that is worth nothing. The way Jesus spoke of himself, he said, the Son of Man. He often spoke of himself as the Son of Man, talking about the human that is. God created us in his image, and God's image is beautiful, be it white, be it yellow, be it black, be it red. God's beautiful image must be recognized and must be respected, irrespective of color. As we believe, as long as we differentiate between A and B because of the color of their eyes, not only the color of their skin, there is no hope for peace and harmony in the world. To me, every human being is a brother of mine. Every human being is a sister of mine. Unless we view them as equal human beings with their strengths and their weaknesses. Some are blessed with strengths. Not all people have the same. Some have their difficulties. They have their handicaps. I mean, what do we do with those handicaps? They're, in my opinion, they're human beings and need to be protected and need to be served. So again, touching on the question of religion. When religion divides, religion, true religion is that which unites. We need to see to it that all people who practice religion work towards that end, whereby all the human race will be recognized as one family under God. Unless we believe in different gods. If we believe in different gods, and we believe that my God is an Arab God, and your God is a Russian God, and your God, Akramal, is a Kazakhstani God, then there is no hope for the world. There can be no unity. But if we believe in the one God who created each and every one of us, then the way forward is to see to it that we recognize the beauty of the other, even if he is different in his looks.
It's excellent, really.
That's how I view the world to be. I am a Christian and I'm Anglican, but I share my faith. I don't impose on people. I share my faith. I believe in Jesus Christ, believe that he is the savior of the world. I don't impose myself on others. They continue to be Muslims, they continue to be Jews. As long as there is mutual recognition and mutual respect, then there is hope for not only coexisting, but there is hope for co-living. We need to look to the day when we learn how to live side by side.
Right.
Yes.
You are so right, Your Grace, and we are so grateful to you for saying these important words that everything what divides people, it cannot be part of the society. We need to cultivate and to nurture only that what unites all of us. And thank you so much for your deep understandings, which are fulfilled with your personal experience. And when we listen to you, we hear that each of your word, it is rooted on your big experience and big understanding of human nature. And you have also mentioned the project Creative Society, in the framework of which we are making this wonderful interview. And I guess this is a good place to ask you, because Creative Society at the moment is a huge multinational and worldwide trend in which millions of people participate from each countries. And the aim of this project is to create a society in the center of which is human's life, these humane values and human and this, human freedom to act as a human. And we also would love to hear your understanding. What is your vision of this creative society?
I started learning about the Creative Society only lately, and thanks to our dear Ikramat. Thank you very much indeed. I went through it and I read what you sent me, but this has been my the first time to touch on Igor's the 8 foundations. And I fully endorse all of those 8. I mean, those are also foundations that you find in the true faiths of people all over the world. Now, I'm not now addressing who was the leader of this faith or that faith. No, I'm talking about the faith itself. When you speak about that, what matters is the humanity of each human. Now, I believe in God, and I believe, as I shared with Akramal, God is the depth of your being. God is not somewhere there in the sky. And that's why you need to at least respect that depth that is within you, if you are a human being. Because I believe that God is the depth of your being, of my being. I can find the image of God in each and every one, depending not only on my eyes, but depending how I view people, how I view the creatures. Second, as humans, we are born the same way. Whether we are Africans, whether we are Kazakhstanis, whether we are Russians, or whether we are Arabs or Israelis. We are born the same way. I know in modern technology, others are born in a medical, technological way. But humanly speaking, we are all children of 9 months. Humans, all of us, are of dust. But in the words of the poet Longfellow, dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. The soul is not of dust. But humanly speaking, our bodies are of dust. Whether we are black or whether we are white, when we leave this world, our bodies go back to what the elements that made our body. But the soul is not of earth. The same applies to the other person with the soul. With the soul. Rather than, I hear people say, when we die, we are the same, whether we are black or white. I don't ask for unity in death. I ask for unity in life. I want to view people equally recognized, equally treated, having the same freedom, but freedom not free at the expense of others. Many people continue to preach freedom, but to them, freedom is at the expense of others. I'm writing my memoirs now, and I refer to the idea of freedom. And I describe freedom a bit different from Igor. Igor spoke of the river and the water. I speak also of the river. And perhaps commenting on the foundations of creative society. Among the animal life, during floods, animals run to the hilltops, to the top of the mountains. And not one animal attack the others, the weak, because they all find themselves in the danger as a result of the flood rising up. We don't need floods. We don't need avalanches. We don't need catastrophes to stick together. This is one. Second, freedom is like a river with two banks. If the river banks go like this, it's no more a river. So when we speak of freedom, we need to protect the two sides of the river, rather than I am free, so I take part of this river. If I take only the side on the right or on the left, the river will no more be a river. Isn't that true?
Exactly.
Yes.
So we need to protect the river. We also need to learn the art of going up, not going down, going up and sticking together and not endangering the other. So this is how I view freedom. I mean, freedom relates to equality. Since we are born equal, born also to be free, and born to be equal, this freedom and this equality must be recognized and respected.
Thank you. Thank you.
Certain
Grace.
areas of the human safety, the transparency and the openness, the creative ideology, the development of personality, the personal fulfillment, the justice and equality, the self-governing society, all those foundations I fully endorse and fully accept. And I think such foundations will certainly pave the way for this society that we call now the creative society. It does not require only the intelligent. It requires people with good heart. People who are first and foremost human. Second, we need certainly different abilities to bring that to becoming a reality within our world. It's not enough to aspire and hope towards that goal as Igor speaks of. He speaks of goal, that there must be a goal for the creative society to reach. In my opinion, I wish to add and pass it on to Igor, please, if you have any connection with him. In my faith, we say people without a vision are doomed to perish. We need the vision. The creative society, in my opinion, is a vision. If it's a vision, it's more than a goal, because the vision is much, much wider than the goal. Because once you reach the goal, then you have accomplished. No, we have the vision. And the vision is not only to reach that goal where people live as if we are one family. Yes, I want to read one bit. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down of heaven. Now, why I spoke of vision, not only the goal. This vision of the New Jerusalem, this vision of the new earth and the new heaven must be your vision and the vision of Igor and the vision of all peace-loving people who are committed, totally, not partially committed, totally committed to the welfare of the human family. I won't say the human race, the human family. We are members of the human family, whether we recognize this or we don't recognize this. Coming back to where we started, because this is part of the vision. In one of our questions, you raised about the possibility, what is the possibility to resolve the conflict in the Middle East?
Yes.
Here, I will sum it up in 2 minutes.
I would love you to ask you also about your book, but you know, firstly, I wanted to share with you just short story about my personal connection with the Palestine and Israel. You know, I had a classmate in my Kazakh National University in the mass media faculty. So she is a great woman. She's so clever. She's so funny. She's always so full of life, laughing. So she immigrated to Israel and lives in new settlements. And she has her 2 boys, 2 sons serving for Israeli army. And another my friend, he's my classmate in diplomatic school of Madrid, where we studied together, you know, and he lives in West Bank in the occupied territories. So, you know, every time when conflict is happening or some war, like military action is happening in this part of the world, I'm worrying about the 2 my friends, and there is no difference, you know. My heart is like has a pain for the both families because they all have children. So I'm so touched by your answer, by your speech, and I also I know also that you wrote a book which is titled "Caught in Between." Can you please tell us and to the viewers where can you find this book? How can we read it, and what is about? Thank you.
The book, thank you very much indeed. The Caught in Between is the story of an Arab, Palestinian, Christian, Anglican, Israeli. To many people in the world, Arabs are thought to be only Muslims. Even when I am in Europe or in America and I'm introduced as an Arab, the first question that people ask me, when were you converted? When did you become Christian? And I tell them, listen, I trace my background as a Christian to the year 33 AD. I was in Jerusalem in the first Pentecost in the year 33 AD. I was an Arab, but I was Jewish by faith, coming from Arabia. And I listened to Peter and I converted to Christ and I became a Christian. And their eyes go like this, they can't understand. Then I'm introduced as a Palestinian, and to many, Palestinian is a terrorist. I tell them I'm a Palestinian, a peacemaker, trying to live in peace with my Jewish neighbors. Not all Palestinians are terrorists or fighters. In 1982, we were second in the world in the number of university graduates, percentage-wise. Number 2 in the world. You met some of those studying in Kazakhstan or in Spain or in England, America, Canada. You travel the world and you know so many of them. Then I tell them I'm Anglican. And Anglican, the 2 of you living in England, when I say I'm Anglican, they think I come from England because Anglicanism is the Church of England. But how come you're Anglican but you speak Arabic? And when I tell them I'm Arab in London, I've been asked several times by the older folk, how come your English is good? I tell them I learned it flying from Tel Aviv to London. Oh, you must be very sharp-minded. people are simple-minded. Then I tell them, but I'm Israeli. Oh, you're Israeli, you must be a Jew. I say, no, I'm Israeli citizen. There are 1.7 million Arabs living in Israel. We can become the bridge. We are Arabs, so we have much to do with the Arab nation. We are Israelis, we have much to do with Israelis and the Jewish community. Now, they tell me, what is your view for settling this problem? In my opinion, all the separation walls must not remain. Separation walls, the cement in them must be used to build bridges of understanding, bridges of mutual respect, mutual recognition of the national rights of the two communities. We've been living side by side. I believe that we have been predestined to live side by side. We need now to learn the art of living side by side, not only existing side by side. Second, in my opinion, there are two stages. We have reached mutual recognition in the Oslo Accord. I claim no credit, but I humbly say I paved the way. You will read this in my book. When I was allowed to travel again, one of my first visits was to Oslo to thank the Minister for Foreign Affairs for intervening on my behalf to let me travel. The Israelis could not say no to him. So when I arrived in Oslo to thank him, he said, "What is on your mind, Riah?" I said, "I beg you to invite Chairman Arafat and the Israeli leader for dinner in Oslo." He turned to me and said, "Riah, you must be a fool. They let you travel only yesterday. You come and tell me invite Arafat." I said, "Sir, this is the time for fools to speak to the wise. If you are wise, try to accept my idea, invite them." You know what happened? The Oslo agreement began. I was the first to come back to Oslo to thank Terry Larson, who brought the two parties to Oslo, to say thank you to him. In fact, I was in England, in Manchester, addressing the Christian Democrat Party, the leader of which is David Alton. They sent me a note, "You please call Norway." I didn't realize that there was something happening. When I called, they said, "We booked you to come tonight to Norway." I did fly to Oslo. I said, "What is it? Did anybody die?" No, they said, "No, we have a new baby. We want you to say thank you to Terry Larson, who brought the two groups to start the discussion until we received the Oslo Agreement, signed on the 13th of September, 1993. Now, I was telling the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Bondovic, I said, invite those two. I personally asked Chairman Arafat on my second visit to Tunis. He said, "What, Father, what do you have in your mind?" I say, "I have no politics to share with you, but I want you to welcome the idea of having dialogue in music." He looked at me and said, "Excuse me, dialogue in music? You must be..." I said, "I have this idea of inviting 5 Israeli musicians to meet with 5 Palestinian musicians in Vienna and ask them to compose an anthem for peace." I said, please try to understand. I want the world to know that the Palestinians are not only good fighters, they are good musicians, that they are ready for peace also. He accepted the challenge. He said, go ahead, I will pay for it. I came back believing that Israel would welcome it. On my return in '86, one day before flying back to Holland to start the arrangement, two gentlemen came into my office. I was a priest, not a bishop. And we're looking for Riah Abu El-Assal. I said, you're talking to him, but I was not in my clerical chair. Why? He said, sign. I said, sign what? You're not allowed to travel. You are a threat to the security of the state of Israel. I said, me, a man of peace, a threat to the security of this superpower with atom bombs? He said, you're not allowed to travel for 12 months. So I was denied the right to travel. But I continue to work for that peace to come between the two. The only way for the world, including America, to support the idea of the two-state solution as stage one is the two-state, in accordance with United Nations resolutions, even if there are Jews in the occupied Palestine and Arabs in Israel, even. Second stage, Jerusalem to become independent of the two as far as politics, to have a municipal council representative equally, 5 Jews, 5 Muslims, 5 Christians. No place for atheists. But being where we represent the 3 monotheistic faiths. A municipal council, but Jerusalem to be recognized as the capital for Israel and for Palestine. No boundaries, not this part or that part, the whole of Jerusalem. Open borders between the two states for 20-25 years. After that, during which time to work for a confederated two states, to have a confederation of Israel and Palestine with Jerusalem in the center, which I believe if we bring peace in this part of the world, with capital, Jerusalem as the capital of the two, it will be recognized as the capital of the world, the religious capital of the world, where peace, where justice, where harmony is there for all to enjoy.
Thank you very much, Grace. And we can build the world that humanity deserves, and we can do it not by revolution. People not need revolution. We need to evolution. By evaluate the next level and unification of all people, we could do it all together as one big human family. And because what else is so in the world important than human life? Human life is a center of creative society, creative, supportive, constructive society, and everybody will believe in prosperity, happiness, and safety, and will feel safe. So that is very important for all of us. And I'd like to ask our viewers and remind them as well, please visit our website, Allatraunites.com. There's an article you can read about Great Society, and it's called Foundation and Stages for Building the Great Society. There are 3 stages and 8 foundations. Please have a look on it, because it's our future, it's future for all humanity, and we can unite only by this highest moral and highest humanity values in our world. And so thank you, Grace, so much for all your opinions and visions. They're just incredible. And
if I may, I should have said that the book is out of, there isn't enough copies now. I have few copies right here. So I will send you as a gift copies when you send me your postal address. I will be only happy to do so. I'm working on another book under the title of Faith, Tradition, and Politics. It's already in the printing press, and I'm working in Arabic. That one is in English.
Thank you very much, Grace. It's just amazing because we will be happy to receive your books and we're looking forward to read it. Thank you very much. And we would like to ask you, because we ask always our guests, we have tradition about 6 handshakes. So during our programs, we always asking our guests to share a name of the person that they would like to see in the next live broadcast and have a chat about creative society. So could you please, would you like to nominate somebody you personally know, a colleague or some social active person who is also will be interested in our project?
Fine, but before I name, I extend an invitation to all of you to come and visit when it is possible now to fly. You're more than welcome to come and the land of the Holy One, as I call it, the Holy Land, and introduce you to both Jews and to Arabs, to Muslims and to Christians and to Jews. You have an open invitation.
Thank you very much.
I have a number of people in mind who maybe, who will, I hope they will accept the challenge to share their stories. One from Jordan, and I don't know whether you interviewed Sasha Stone, Akramal, did you?
Not yet. I know him. He is an amazing person. I would put his name one of two. Sasha Stone has a story to share, and he is very much focused like me. I am a party with the International Tribunal for Natural Justice. We work together in that tribunal, and he's one, and most probably I will ask him to put in writing a few lines and send them to you. The other person is a former advisor to the King of Jordan, to King Abdullah. Now, I wish you were able to interview King Abdullah because, in my opinion, King Abdullah has that vision also of peace that is established on truth and justice. But the former advisor to him is His Excellency Aqil, A-Q-L, Biltaji, B-I-L-T-A-J-I. His Excellency Aqil, A-Q-L, and the family name is Biltaji, B-I-L-T-A-J-I. I knew him since I was elected bishop in 1995. We continue to be friends, a great friend with a clear mind and open to challenges. And I think he served in that capacity for a number of years and greatly respected in Jordan, but in other places. Well-traveled as well on behalf of Jordan, though he is of Palestinian background. But in Jordan, you know, the majority of the Jordanians are Palestinians. But he is committed to Jordan. He's trustworthy, very much a great friend like Sasha Stone, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, I traveled the world. I have names from America, from Canada, from Australia,
but this is too much. But to pick up one or two, I would recommend Sasha Stone and Akil Biltaji. I will try to put in writing and send the telephone number for the two of them, and then Akramal, you can start the process, and I hope that you will succeed, and I pray that you will find even a better and more eloquent and more understanding person than myself.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. We are so amazed by your interview, by your speeches, by your words. So, you know, it's really very inspiring to hear from the heart of the Middle East, from Jerusalem, to hear these words of peace, this call for peace. It's very, very important, I think, for everybody around the world. So we appreciate really, really sincerely your efforts to deliver this message to the world. Thank you so much.
And thank you for your books and for your advices and for your people. You can invite as many people as you would like. And so you can join us as an Akmara next time and also speak with those people about the creative society, about the vision and how we can change our world. Because we can build the peaceful world that all people live in prosperity and everybody feel will be safe and happy. We could do it to get this, but only in unification of all people, in joint efforts, in joint hands. We could do it together. So it's a great society, it's a call for all humanity to wake up. The Allatra International Public Movement is a platform for everybody. It's an open platform where all humanity can sit around one big human table, round table, and speak and discuss solutions, how we can do our world a better place for everybody. When a human life is the main and only highest value in the whole world. Thank you very much, Grace.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure and honor to have you with us today. And we keep in touch with you, and we will be inviting you in many other projects as well. So thank you so much for taking part.
For you, we wish to be safe in these difficult times and to have all the strength to continue your amazing, really amazing work. We are with you.
With your support and the support of peace-loving people, we will continue our walk, and we will walk the talk. We will walk the talk.
Yes, so thank you very much again, you Grace, and thank you, Akmaral, to being with us as well today. You're also a fantastic person and such a social active who cares about the world. And thank you, Anna, for joining us today as well. And so I'd like to say thank you for everybody. Wish everybody a good day, and we keep in touch. And thank you very much. So
thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.